Howdy, it's your boy, Sans. Now, I'm about to come up on 500 hours on Heroes and Generals. A few of my friends have played this for like a few dozen hours, a few for a couple hundred hours. But me, I'm just kind of like, can't get enough Heroes and Generals. So far, I've seen a few of my friends, a few other fellow players make some kind of common mistakes, as well as ask me a few questions, because I am the Godfather. So, it's going to be a pretty long video actually, kind of just explaining the ins and outs of Heroes in general, some things you may not know, some things veterans may not even know, and pretty much how to avoid some mistakes or some pitfalls that I've fallen into, because the best teacher is experience. And I do this for you, the people, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. I'm still going to leave timestamps, and I also have closed captioning for my hard of hearing fans, or if you just want to like eat cereal or something, or if you just can't understand me sometimes because I do slur my words. So yeah, I'm gonna have timestamps and everything. So yeah, this video is for you. Now, first things first, when you start off brand new, one of the first questions you're gonna have is which faction do I choose? And to be completely honest, if you want to go for easy mode, go for Germany. If you want to have a little bit of challenge, go for US. And if you want to kill yourself on the inside, you might want to go for the Soviets. And I'm not saying that Germany or US are easier than the Soviet Union. All I'm saying is some factions have some ups and downs, but if you're brand new to first-person shooters, or you're kind of used to them, and you want to transition to something sort of in the battlefield, like, you might want to go for like Germany or US, simply because the weapon progressions they have over here, as well as some of the classes and class setups they have, fit a bit better and are less frustrating in the long run, and sometimes a bit cheaper to run compared to some Soviet Union builds. So yeah. Now, before we get into the game, there's a few things that you still have to take in mind. First, if you have a potato computer like mine, you might want to change your video settings so your computer doesn't freak out and you could actually run and play the game. So, unfortunately, in Heroes and Generals, the only way to change the video settings is during the action game, so you might want to join like a first encounter or any type of random game and change your settings, escape settings, video settings. Now I have it as just as 1920 by 1080 for my display resolution, but for my rendering solution I choose the lowest setting. And to be honest, does it look a little bit shitty? Yes, it does, but I still get 50 to 60 frames. On top of this, I recommend running it in full screen, not full screen windowed, full screen, because that way you boost your FPS, at least on my computer, from like 40, 50ish to 50, 60. VSync is completely up to you, but for me, I have a really low graphics card, so I just use VSync so I don't get visual tearing. Some button presses. If you press F3, you're going to see some of the recent kills. F6 shows you the network performance graphs, and F7 shows you your FPS and ping. Also, you can press F11 to undeploy. You just crouch down for a little bit, and supposedly your character just kind of kills himself, and you can respawn. But it does count as a ticket off, so if you have like 2k infantry, it's okay to redeploy. But if you're playing like tanker or recon or like a pilot and you don't have that many tickets, it's best to just kind of wear it out and play kind of with a handicap rather than waste tickets, because that ticket could change the game. Now, the most crucial thing I would suggest to new players, in order to understand how their money's spent or how repairs work. So, over time, when you use weapons, as well as modifications, vehicles, etc., they will wear down and you will have to repair them. The first tip I have is turn off auto repair. Even though it seems like, why wouldn't I auto repair so my weapons are in tip-top shape? Because sometimes the game has a really bad habit of rounding up prices or rounding up credits, so that it ends up costing you more than it actually costs. Also, unless it wears completely down, your weapon will not perform any better, any worse, and it's not until one modification or your gun is completely worn down that you can no longer use it and you are forced to repair it. So, turn off auto repair, and also this way, Not only will you kind of manage your credits a little better, also you could see how much each modification really takes you per game. And in order to help you with that, I'm gonna leave a link to this in the description. This is pretty much a mod weapon vehicle cost Google sheet, and depending on what faction you are, it shows everything you could ever ask for, like how much does this cost to spawn, vehicles, weapons, everything. And even then it goes down to like vehicle sorted, weapon sorted, explosive sorted, etc, etc. Now the best thing about this is actually the mod cost. If you go over here, to be honest, this is a bunch of BS. What I really suggest is go to the mod calculator, click it, click on the link, and it's going to send you to this little calculator. And you select your faction, let's just say SU, and depending on like what gun you choose, it shows you how much it costs per bullet to fire. So that way you could see what kind of builds cost, like cheaper, more expensive, etc, etc. So for example, let's just say we have two different SVTs, alright? One just has basic light ball, and you want it to have just shoot really fast. As you can see, field trigger job, light and spring is about 5 credits. SVT, again, let's just say we're on a sniper build, so sniper, have a 3x sight, and just have like a scout barrel. Is that the most expensive? Yes it is. Costs 17 per bullet. So depending on what trigger job or what kind of modifications you have on it, it's going to cost more or less per bullet. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about is salary, because I know the first thing new players want to do is that they see these really expensive guns. They want to find out how they can grind up these credits, because it seems like you barely get enough. It all starts with salary. Depending on your rank, your soldier gets a certain amount per hour. The way the game calculates this is any single time your soldier is boots on ground, doesn't matter where you're not even visible to the enemy, as long as you are in the game, it counts it per second. Doesn't matter where you are on the map. So it takes your salary, it divides it by 3,600, so that way you get the credits per second, and multiplies that by your battle time, and at the end of the game, that's what you get for your salary. Now, if you stay until the end of the game, you will get a bonus 10% to your salary on top of your battle time. Also, depending on what you do for ribbons or etc, you will get a little bit extra salary. So if you're infantry and you cap a lot of points, you get a little bit extra money. If you're a recon and get some kills that are beyond 200 meters, which counts as long range kills, you get more money like that. Also, just being a veteran, you also just get a straight up 25% bonus. But we're going to get into veteran membership in a bit. So yeah, one thing I would not advise doing is just going into a game and just standing there, because you can get reported for farming or going AFK, and you can get banned for that, which I've had two of my friends get banned for just standing there because they just want to stand during a war game, just go AFK and just grind credits like that. Don't do that, because you could get banned and all your hard time and hard work is going to be for nothing. So yeah, next topic we're going to hit on is combat badges. For this, I'm just going to link a video to a fellow YouTuber, Atway. He did an amazing job on this a while back. But to summarize it very briefly, there are a lot of perks that really don't do much, but the ones you really want to have is First Blood is going to be the very first ones that you get, so it's just good to have because there's nothing else. Heavy Set allows you to survive one-hit snipers, and it's pretty much just a tramp stamp of heroes in general. It just takes you, it's pretty much Juggernaut. It gives you more health, pretty much. Marathon Man, unless you literally have nothing else to run, you're probably not going to run this. People say Nimble, it's kind of trashy, but to be honest, sometimes it does help, because it hides the sound of you with your gun, the way your gun sounds when you kind of walk. Sprinting still makes sound with Nimble, but reloading is quieter, your footsteps are pretty much silent, your clothes don't make any sound. Or even when you fall down, or your fall damage, or not your fall damage, the sound you have when you fall is lessened. So it's good for sneak attacks and whatnot. Or when you're clearing up buildings so you don't want them to know you're moving around. All these are pretty self-explanatory. Don't get quick draw because it's pretty much trash. A scavenger, you're probably not going to need it. Camouflaged is very OP, but it's the last recon badge you're going to get. But even with infantry, even with tanks, it's really OP. Fast reload is a godsend and is also very overpowered. It takes a 10-second reload and turns it into a 6-second reload. Other than that, let's see. Mechanic, if you want to be a fellow mechanic soldier and help out your tank boys. For example, if you have an enemy tank kit and it takes out your big boy tracks, you could go up there and repair them. So tactical, this goes on along with the medic pouches and whatnot, and medic bags. So far, you don't really need to carry extra medic bags unless you want to do a medic build and replace fast reload with combat medic. Hand of God pretty much does nothing except for increase the range that you heal from, but the one you really want to have is first aid, at least gold. 100% faster. What it does, it takes the 5-second animation and turns it down to 2.5 seconds, which is a godsend, especially when you're trying to heal teammates. Amazing. The best way to grind this badge up, at least, is going to first encounter and heal your teammates with the pouch. Because the AI, when you start to heal them, they actually stop for you, which is something even human players don't do, which makes it very easy. On top of that, going to Ribbon Overview and boosting it, even with silver or some gold you might have lying around, it is very nice. Parachutes, I don't really have much on that, except for free fall is good if you want to be like an OG paratrooper. For tankers, gunner doesn't really work that much. It doesn't work on your coaxial, but it works on your main gun. Reduce fuel maintenance load doesn't really make much sense because it just makes you waste tickets faster. Aircraft thief you are never gonna use. Bombs away and flag check it, or airborne and bombs away is your best bet. Especially bombs away, must have. And for battlefield commander, when you do get into the RTS game, commander and charismatic leader are the ones you want to have. Logistics expert doesn't really matter because chances are if you have to rush your units out, it's kind of too late. But yeah, that's all there is for combat badges. Please refer to Atway's video. Next topic I want to hit on is guns, or pretty much builds. The build I have right here is half medic, half just running around. So the goal of this build is pretty much just kill someone, take their gun, and go away with it. I have first aid and fast reload because reloading makes you vulnerable, having to heal makes you vulnerable, and having these two combined pretty much just take away you having your pants down. And yeah. Now, some quick things you might want to go with. Corvin, unless you want to get the revolver, which to be honest is pretty overpowered within itself, even without any add-ons. Don't upgrade this, and don't get the Tobrek. Don't get that. PPD is really trash. Do not get the PPD. It doesn't take that much to upgrade your badge, your SMG assault badge, to get the PPSH. Don't buy the PPD. It is pure trash. SVT, it is good to upgrade it, at least to get a one-hit, like not one hit, but like a 2-hit build. It's a little bit on the expensive side, especially if you want to make it shoot faster, but otherwise it's pretty good. PTRD is good for taking out tanks and whatnot. The Mosin, I wouldn't really recommend having a one-hit sniper build on infantry, unless you have silver to spend, credits, sorry. And even that then, since you're not recon, the highest scope you could get, at least on Soviet Union, is 3.5, which makes it a bit harder to get long range shots and get like more money for it. But if you want to do it, go ahead. LMG, the DT, is pretty good overall. PPSH is really good. Close quarters it's like the PPD but not trashy. PPS is good, not even like CQC but also mid-range because it's a bit more accurate. The AVS is amazing, only 15 bullets though. And the PTRS, oh lord, against tanks it is a godsend, but oh lord, that price tag. All I gotta say is, if you have credits to buy this, go ahead. For grenades, tanks and mines are kind of expensive, but overall, if you use them sparingly and only in situations, for example, if an enemy is cooped up in a building, and they're kind of camping the stairs. You can just throw in a grenade or two and clear it out. Anti-tank grenades and anti-tank like bazookas are also good, but use them sparingly though, because referring back to the cost spreadsheet I was talking about, these anti-tank grenades are almost like 150, 250 a pop. Some tanks only cost 50 credits to spawn, especially the light tanks. Be wary of that. Don't burn your wallet to burn a 50 credit tank. And all I gotta say, do not get anti-personnel mines. Do not get anti-personnel mines. These are almost 700 to 750 a pop. At most, you get. This was a long battle. That's 12k. With just 10 mines, you burn 7,000 credits. Don't use anti-personnel mines. Even though they are one-hit weapons, sometimes your teammates run into them, and you could get team kill reported for that. Don't do that. Just overall avoid these. I don't really recommend shovels, but otherwise all the knives are good to go. It's a 2-hit kill anywhere except for the head. The head is a 1-hit kill. And even though I'm a little bit biased because I'm in the top 100 for melee kills on the leaderboards, if you don't have anything else to use, even for snipers, I wouldn't recommend carrying a pistol. Carry a knife because the ammo is limited and it's silent. And even it doesn't have any repair cost, which is really good. Let's see. Soviet first aid kit and this medic pouch are pretty much the same thing, except this costs like 6 credits less per use, and you get 3 of these instead of just 1. But with the, what was it, the first aid, the combat medic, it just ups it by 3. So if you have medic pouch, it changes the max from 3 to 6. If you have the first aid kit, it changes it from 1 to 4. I'm sorry, from 1 to 3. From 1 to 4. But if you have both combined, it doesn't give 3 to this and 3 to this. It just gives 3 to the first one in your slot, and then it just leaves the other one alone. So no, you cannot have like 20 fucking first aid kits. It doesn't work like that. Field wrench, you can use it as a melee weapon if you're kind of low on slots. Like for example, if you're a tanker, I don't really have room for a knife, but I do have room for a wrench, and you can swing it and repair with it. But for me, I'm probably just gonna buy it and put it in my other slot because I have a knife. It's really good, but sometimes you need a wrench, not for self-defense, but to actually heal your tanks. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is memberships. The only 2 you really want to get without spending any real money are 30-day and 90 days. Never buy 24 hours, and I'll show you why. So, the best rank you could have, the best salary you could have is that of around rank 17, which is 15.6. So, the red represents your salary without veteran, and the blue represents your salary with veteran, but with 24 hours. So, as you could tell, we have your regular salary times 1.25 x minus the 76k. As you can see over here, you saw off a little bit below, and this x-axis is time in hours. You have to spend almost 4 hours just to make enough money to make back what you lost. It's not until 19 hours of playing that you make the same amount as you would without it, without the 24-hour veteran membership. And even then, at 23 hours of playing is when you start to make more than you would in 24 hours if you didn't have veteran. And even in the end, if you played for 24 hours straight, no stop, pure game, we're not even including loading times, at the very best, you would make 17k more credits. It is not worth it. Instead, what you want to get is the 30-day, which you only have to get 20k credits per day to break even, or the 90-day, which is only 19k credits to break even. Either way, let's just say you just take the 30-day like I did, grind up to 600,000 credits. Remember, you still have the 1.25 bonus. You don't have to play for a little over an hour to break even for that day. Afterwards, everything else is profit. So yeah, do not buy 24-hour veteran membership. Buy 30 or 90 day. And yeah, that's about it. Just keep track of your mod costs. Don't go crazy. Don't burn your bank to burn your tank. And that's it. Just go over there, have fun. Yeet.